Highway 4, east slope of the Alberni Summit. Time to start a hike on the E&N Railway going from the east side of the Alberni Summit to the west end of Cameron Lake. It's one of my favorite hikes, and I haven't been here for over a year, about 15 months. And here I am at the railway. This is an old set-on, set-off area, about mile 20.6 on the Port Alberni Subdivision. That's looking towards the summit, about 2.2% grade. I'm going down this way towards Cameron Lake, about a 2.1% grade. This downhill becomes an uphill at the end of my hike. It's going to be the end of a 10-mile hike, so I'm going to feel it. But for now, this is an easy part. The first time I did this hike was in 2019. It was all new to me, and I was trying to discover as much of the E&N as I could, especially all the bridges and trestles, and there's going to be 4 of those on today's hike. And in some years, I did this hike 3 times, maybe 4 times in all seasons. And lately it's been once a year, if that. So this is a checkup hike to see what's new, to satisfy my curiosity. No trains here since early 2002. That's 24 years ago. During the first part of those 24 years, this was maintained by a volunteer group, part of the Canadian Railroad Historical Association, E&N Division. They did that in an authorized way. And then the next main impact on this line was a fiber optic cable project installed in 2021 and 2022. And that resulted in the line being clear again of brush, overgrowth, and obstacles. And then it started to grow back again. And then the next thing that impacted overgrowth in a good way was, well, related to the wildfire in Wesley Ridge in August 2025. And BC Wildfire Service came into this area of the railway to clear out the brush for purposes of a fire break. And I'm going to see impact of that as I progress on my hike. And my hike turnaround, the end point, is before I get into or near the burn zone. So I'm staying safe. Over the years, where overgrowth and rock and tree obstacles built up, good recreational users, likely people on ATVs with chainsaws, would clear obstacles periodically. They did a great job in an informal way, and I'm sure thankful for their work. But there were some big rocks coming up right here before the first trestle, the mile 20.2, and they've been cleared. So this is evidence of the BC Wildfire fire break contractor making an impact here last summer. There's also a lot of historical rockfall here from years gone by. That's the same story for a lot of the places I'll be passing by today. Historical and recent obstacles. It just keeps happening. And here, mile 20.2 trestle over a dry ravine, and it's just a simple structure, nothing exciting. This is such a simple trestle, relatively good shape up top. Over the years, its significance to me is just that it's the first one and the last one on these out and back hikes. The other 3 are more interesting. But at the end of this trestle, I turn and I usually have a nice view of Mount Arrowsmith. Especially nice in the morning. Yeah, nice. Here's the area shown in this video series. Vancouver Island on the west coast of British Columbia, and the red circle is the location of my hike. Here's a map showing the E&N Railway's Port Alberni Subdivision, which runs from Parksville on the right side to Port Alberni on the left, with my hike shown in the left middle part. Looking closer, here's my start and end point, shown on the left side, which is mile 20.6 on the eastern slope of the Alberni Summit. And my turnaround point is mile 15.6 above the west part of Cameron Lake. So my total hike is 5 miles each way for 16 kilometers total, and that took me about 6 hours. And this was on January 17th, 2026. Here's a map showing the portion of my hike covered by this episode in the series. You might remember that there was a wildfire near to this hike area back in August 2025. That was the Wesley Ridge wildfire. Here's a map that shows the extent of the burned area. Back to my hiking map, the yellow mark in the top middle of the map shows the western edge of the fire burned area, which is approximately mile 15.1. So my hike got to within about half a mile of that fire area, and I wouldn't want to go any closer. During my hike, I noted the impact of fire break work that had been done by the BC Wildfire Service during August 2025. The actual clearing of a fire break was from mile 16.4 eastward, impacting both sides of the track. Really, it just made the previously overgrown track look like normal railway sightlines again. I also noted a lighter impact from the start of my hike at mile 20.6 to mile 16.4, where some larger rockfall obstacles had been cleared and the broom weeds were cut. Presumably this was done by BC Wildfire Service when they accessed through that area to get to the fire break area. Lastly, I also noted the recent rainy season impact during this post-fire era, with a couple of larger sediment debris fields that would have washed down from above in the areas closer to the burn area. I think this is the new normal.